Hello everybody, Marina here for another video. As I promised in one of my latest video, I am coming today to talk to you about a book that I've read recently, and that book is If You Keep Digging by Keletso Mopai. This is our first published book. It's a collection of short stories that contain like 12 short stories, and each one is worth the read to begin with. I will start by telling you that in this collection, you will find many different themes. It deals with mental health, hair politics, queerness, spirituality, abuse, all kind of abuse, like mental abuse, physical abuse. You even have this short novel when a woman is beaten, like almost beaten to death, etc., etc. You also have alcoholism. I said to deal with queerness, but clearly you do have a short story where homosexuality is dealt with very thoroughly, and another one where you have a lesbian couple trying to survive in a world that is against them from the very beginning. And I also love the way she impersonated different characters and how she told different stories. You do have stories at the first person, second person, or third person. So you have different voices, different angles in the story that we are being told in this collection. One of my favorite story in here is Letty. Letty is a story. I'm not going to sum up all of them. All I can tell you is that they are all worth reading. None of these stories will make you really smile or laugh, but you would definitely learn a bunch of things reading them. All of them are set in South Africa, and she even used different languages. Of course, English is the main language that she's using in here, but I know that though I'm not from South Africa, I can tell you that she uses different languages simply because there were dialogues in here in Afrikaans, for example, that I did understand because I went on Google while I was reading, and I translated the dialogues because she doesn't provide them. You can easily understand what she means given the context in which the words are used or the exchange that people are having. So I was talking about Letty. I loved it because women came together. You know, I always love it when women come together, when we take the time out to listen to each other, not judging each other, and eventually finding a solution to a problem that seemed unsolvable to all of us to begin with. What I also loved in that short story is how she twisted everything, the twist and turn. When really the least expected a major twist, it just happened. So I was rooting for somebody, and then I realized that what she was teaching me also through her writing is that you always have to listen to different parties involved in the situation. Okay, you cannot just have one side of a coin and then make up your mind. You have to listen to all of them. I'm going to look at the book so that I can remember everything from the book. The other one I really loved was Baba's Johannesburg. Baba's Johannesburg was so pleasing, and I didn't expect the ending. The ending, like I loved it because I got the answer and I understood the short story with the very last words, like the last paragraph of the short story gives everything to you. You understand everything, and it was well done. I loved it. The other one, but I thought, first of all, I thought that she had balls, because the collection starts with Madness, a short story that deals with mental health, and we all know. I mean, if you were born and raised in Africa, you know that African people don't have mental issue problems. If you start telling an African person that you're going through a nervous breakdown or you're having this trouble, etc., they will look at you and be like, "Oh, you're acting white. You've spent so many years in the white man's land that now you think that you too are white." We start talking about mental health only when it's like we are dire straight, when the person is in a situation where we feel like there's nothing we can do. But if when it begins, when somebody's telling you how bad they're feeling, we are quicker to judge than to lend a helping hand or to listen to the people to try to find a solution for them. So I loved it. I love that she dared open the collection with madness. I also love the story of the monkey. I don't know what the exact title is. Yeah, Monkey is the second one. And the main character in Monkey's story is a white boy, a 10-year white boy, already kind of discovering his sexuality or dealing with it, not knowing exactly who he is, but people around him seem to understand certain things. And in that short story, he also deals with abuse and all kind of stuff. So I love that one as well. Fairy tales. Anybody who have ever lived in Africa know how hard it is. No matter if you've never been in South Africa or you never lived in South Africa, because I'm not from South Africa, I've never been there. I am from both sides of the Congo. And I do know that even the people in my own family were like, when my hair was not permed, they would look at me like, oh, you have bad hair. You should do something. You should fix your hair. It starts in the family. We are always accusing other people from the outside, thinking that our children are being abused or mocked outside, but it starts under our own roofs. Our people start criticizing us, start making us feel ugly or not appropriate, like you're not correct if you don't have permed hair, you're not beautiful if you do have a dark skin. And then they will be the next to criticize you if you perm your hair or if you try to bleach your skin as well. They don't understand that. But from the very young age, if you're used to people telling you that how ugly you are because you're just being you are ugly because you look just the way God created you, what else can you do? You try, if you're not strong enough mentally, you will try to find solutions. You'll be like, okay, maybe if I'm lighter, people will like me more, will love me, will appreciate me. Maybe if my hair is perm, people will stop seeing my hair before seeing me wholly. Okay, so I love that one as well. I loved Skinned. Which short story didn't I love in here? I don't know. I loved all of them. The one I didn't really appreciate was Banda, I think. Professor Banda. And I was discussing it with a colleague of mine who told me that the reason why I didn't like it is just because I'm Congolese. And I was like, no. The reason I think I didn't really like it is because the Keletso Mopai provided different voices. You know, different voices in all the short stories. We always have different point of views. We do kind of see how things go, even if the majority of the people we hear here are women. And I loved that detail. The fact that women are vocal, women are saying things that we are used to shushing because the society shushed us, telling us, and the first person who shushed us in the beginning are women. Women are being tougher on women that we can even assume. That I had this conversation with a friend of mine when I was telling her, I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist because sometimes I feel like feminists are always quick to criticize men in general. Like, oh, patriarchy is doing this or patriarchy is doing that without even looking at ourselves. Women are doing bad things to other women. If you have a woman who comes to you and tell you, you know, my husband is abusing me, or my husband is doing this and that first thing that people will tell you will be, in Africa at least, will be like, you know, marriage is not easy. You should talk about it with your husband. You should find solution. You know, men are children. They never grow up. Men are this and that. And they don't listen to you, actually. They just tell you, go back to the house and sort out the things, work the matter out with your husband. While you are telling them, my husband is slowly killing me. I might die if I stay with him. But they don't listen to that. They just remind you how blessed you are to be married. She touches that in these short stories as well. Patriarchy is a bad thing, of course, but women should start by changing their point of view, by listening to other women, by bonding, and by changing things. You know, we are the one raising those boys. We are the one giving birth to them. We are the one marrying them. So we should pay more attention to what we are feeding them feeding their mind with. If we keep telling them that they are kings when they don't do anything to deserve the title, they don't deserve the crown, but we put them on their heads, they will keep acting the way they are doing. But if we start by changing things, we start by telling even our sons, you will do what your sister does, and there's nothing wrong with it, then maybe we could start saying, yes, we are changing things. But if we keep talking and not acting, it doesn't make sense to me. In these short stories, she deals with so many things. I loved the love story between the love story and even the ending of becoming God. Becoming God. For those of you who have already seen many pictures on my Instagram account or in my house, you know, I have this little note where it is written, the best man for the job is usually a woman. When I read that short story, I was like, this is exactly what the thing is for. The best man for the job is usually a woman. You should read Becoming a God and you will understand me. I'm not giving you details about these short stories simply because short stories, y'all, they are short, they are worth the read. And what she did is that you could never tell how a story will end till you have reached the end. You can never, don't go there, you know, like rooting for somebody, thinking that this person is right because you've heard that person tell a part of the story. You should read till the end. But I loved the way she made these women vocal. Even in Professor Banda, even though I didn't really like it, I understood what she was trying to do. Because most of the time when a woman is raped or harassed or anything, the society tends to ask her, what were you wearing? What did you do so that the man could rape you? What did you do? They don't ask you what the man did. They don't ask you in which state he was or what prompted him, in what made him believe that he was allowed to use you or abuse you. They will put the blame on you as if it wasn't already hard for you to have been considered as a thingy, you know, to have been like raped or, yeah, raped. But yeah, they don't ask the woman, or if a woman come to testify, some people will look at you like, oh, you're not even beautiful. Why would somebody rape you? I've heard so many stupid things sometimes when it comes to it. So I understood what she was trying to do with Professor Banda, but nevertheless, yeah, maybe because I'm Congolese. Yeah, if you read it, you'll understand. Maybe because I'm Congolese, I didn't appreciate it. But I will highly recommend it. If you go on my Goodread account, you will see what I had to say about this one. I wrote something, and you know, I don't usually write stuff when I'm done reading my books. But for this one, I did leave a comment on my Goodread, and please go and check it out. I'll leave the details in the description box. But make sure, if you are going to read only one collection of short stories this year, this gotta be the one. If you keep digging, I don't need to say that this is very feminist because of course the women in here are vocal. I even loved one short story, I don't remember the title of it, but it is an albino woman in love, or is she? You need to read that one as well. So everything, the themes were different, the settings were different. All the stories are set in South Africa, but anything could have been set anywhere else. So yeah, if you didn't know, now you do. If you hadn't heard about this one, If You Keep Digging by Keletso Mopai. Lord, I want to keep talking about it because there's a short story here when I felt like, I think it was Growing Caterpillars. The love triangle in there made me sad. But anyways, just pick up a copy. Make sure you read it. Talk about it. Share your opinion, your thought on this book. Me, or personally, I really, really loved it. So yeah, I highly recommend this one. If You Keep Digging by Keletso Mopai. You can find it on the Book Depository or anywhere else online if you're outside South Africa. And for all of you in South Africa, you don't have any kind of excuse. You need to buy the book and read it. You need to buy the damn book, read it, and let's talk about it, okay? Well, that's all I had for you today. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.